are the Elohim? Why are there depictions and descriptions of their vehicles? Could there be a very significant and very important reason why the early Hebrews or the early Israelites had no military kings, had no political leaders in their times, and refused utterly to acknowledge the right of anybody or anyone except the Creator to rule over them? This It's not the only one. I want to give more evidence about this. When you go to certain hieroglyphics, the ancient Egyptians prove that they were flying machines. When you go to India, the Vimanas, which were also flying machines. When you read the story of Elijah, who was taken up into the heavens or in the skies by a chariot of fire, you find that this is not a myth. Or they ride hyenas at night and they fly in the air. It's not a mystery. You should not mystify. This is a technology that is there, which when we speak today about it, we are laughed, and it's laughed at. And yet, NASA, CIA, FBI, and the National Security Agency in America, they are researching on what is called interdimensional travel or time travel. It's possible. It's there. This is what our ancestors knew, and it was possible. I've given the Egyptian helicopter hieroglyphics, which some people are now saying it's not correct, but it's there when the pictures that I'm showing you shows that. The question that comes now is connected with the Elohim. It is connected. For us to understand the Elohim, we must understand the Neterus. For us to understand the Neterus, we must study ancient Egyptian hieroglyphics and ancient Egyptian mysteries. This is a secret to us as Black people. We must study ancient Egyptian hieroglyphics and surpass those interpretations that have been given today and go beyond, because this is ours. This is our language. These are our mysteries. Some people have been able to use these mysteries to rule this world and destroy it, this earth, and destroy it. In the only few years that they've had the chance, they've destroyed it. And our civilization, which was founded by our ancestors from ancient Egypt, Mohenjo-Daro, in Babylon, Sumeria. When you say Sumer, it means black heads. In Americas, anywhere where you look at on the earth, our ancestors did not teach us that the earth is a sphere. They knew that the earth is flat. Hence, they were not scared of going across the ocean, of venturing and turning the whole earth. We find them in Australia. We find them in India. We find our ancestors in Europe. We find our ancestors, the Grimaldi, in Europe. We find them in United States. They are the ancient black people that came to the earth. They also did not believe in evolution. They knew that there is a force, a powerful force, a powerful ancestor who created us and put us on the earth. And they knew that he is somewhere there in nature. If you study nature, you'll find him. Or you'll find that force. So, we want to look a little bit on the book of concerning the book of Ezekiel chapter 1. And ask the question, how come these white rabbis said that this book cannot be understood because it's a hidden mystery? They might have been correct then, but today we know that Ezekiel saw another technology from another dimension that interacts with us on earth, not beyond, but that interacts with us on earth through that black night web. And they came and manifested in his presence, and they gave him a message that was for us, the Hebrews, for us, the Israelites. Because when he was at the river Kebari, he was told that in chapter 3 of Ezekiel, it says, moreover, he said unto me, Son of man, eat that thou findest, eat this roll, and go and speak to the house of Israel. Who is the house of Israel today? It is the black people that are suffering because they left the covenant which would have given them and given us power and authority and continuance from where the ancient Egyptians, black ancient Egyptians, had dropped the button. So I opened my mouth, and he caused me to eat that roll. And he said unto me, Son of man, cause thy belly to eat, and fill thy bowels with this roll that I give thee. Then I did eat it, and in my mouth it was a honey for sweetness. And he said unto me, Son of man, go, get thee unto the house of Israel, and speak with my words unto them. For thou art not sent to a people of a strange speech and of a hard language, but in the house of Israel. So the Ezekiel's message is our message, black people. Once we know who is Israel, who is a Hebrew, who is an ancient Egyptian, if you go to Ezekiel chapter 31, 32, 33, it describes prophecies to ancient Egypt from deep ancient times to modern times. So Ezekiel's message is for us, black people. But Ezekiel introduces something that has never been taught by any other group of people en masse. Because in chapter 1, verse 4, he says, I looked and I saw a windstorm coming out of the north, an immense cloud with flashing lightning and surrounded by a brilliant light. The center of the fire looked like glowing metal. What is this that Ezekiel is? Is it a phantom or is it a real thing? Ancient Jewish rabbis, the Khazarian, the converts to this religion, said it's a Maseh Mechaba. It cannot be understood. But Ezekiel is seeing something there. Someone has drawn a picture and actually proved that that was a spacecraft, which is quite clear, straightforward. It's a spacecraft. The question we have to deal with it is that if it was a spacecraft, it's a technology. Our ancestors knew that there is the world of the dead that is living, the living dead. That's called the netherworld. Or the underworld. In other words, another dimension. This dimension that we see is only a single dimension. There are billions and trillions of dimensions within this cosmos, within where we live. They're not out of the space, within where we live. Hence, you can send pictures through the air and they have a receiver and receive them. This is what Ezekiel the fire was what looked like 4 living creatures in appearance. He's describing what he sees, the 4 shapes that surround this fire, the vapor, and also that they looked alive. This is a helicopter which was moving. And for proof that is a helicopter, read verse 6. It says, by each of them had 4 faces and 4 wings. So those are the rotors of the helicopter. And he now describes, in verse 7, he describes the hydraulics of their feet, that they were straight and like a calf and burnished bronze. That's a metal which was made. That's clear. So it landed, the hydraulics were used to stretch its legs, and then the wheels came out. And in verse 9, it described the remote controls, the mechanical arms that were hanging beside it. In verse 10, it continues to describe the faces of these entities and the wings And if you look at this and the Apollo and all what the scientists, modern scientists, have been able to do using this, you can see that they were very ugly and very well shaped to go into space or to come into space. In verse 11, he describes the rotor blades that are divided, and he also describes their position when they are folded, and also when they are in the down position. In verse 11, he says, their wings were spread out upward. Each had two wings, one touching the wing of another creature on either side, and two wings covering its body. That's straightforward. These are the wings of this flying craft. So the landing gear comes out and it lands, and then the living creatures was like burning coals of fire, torches. Fire moved back and forth among the creatures. It was bright, and the lightning flashed out of it. These are the lights, the indicator light, the strobe lights flashing on it, like lightning flashing on it. The spacecraft hovers on the ground and finds a place to land, and then it lands. And then the wheels are deployed. This is where problems have come. People wanted to ride this wheel and think that the wheel is something else completely different from the, being a wheel with a bearing and a rotating. This is straight, and I'm showing you a picture of the wheel here. So this was the appearance and the structure, of the wheels. They sparkled like chrysolite, and all four looked alike. Yes, each appeared to be made like a wheel intersecting a wheel. As they moved, they would go in any one of the four directions the creature faces. Straight forward, it's moving. The wheels did not turn about as the creature went because of the structure of the wheel. Their rims were high and awesome, and all four rims were full of eyes. These are the bolts around the wheels. When the living creatures moved, the wheels beside them moved. And when the living creatures rose from the ground, the wheels also rose. If they attached to it, straight forward. Wherever the spirit would go, they would go, and the wheels would rise along with them, because the spirit of the living creatures was in the wheels. That was where the motion is, the force, the energy of moving, as it was landed, as it had landed on the ground. When the creatures moved, they also moved. When the creatures stood still, they also stood still. And when the creatures rose from the ground, the wheels rose along with them, but because the spirit of the living creatures was in the wheels. That is his perception. He thought the wheels had life, but that's correct. That's the motion. That's the dynamics of it. So here we need to study our ancient writings to reinterpret them in our understanding, so that we can start to interact with the Elohim, so that we can start to understand the mysteries, ancient times, not these mysteries that the rabbis say, you can't understand the mysteries, but the mysteries of thinking, the mysteries of thought, the mysteries of our spirit as black people, of our ancestors, of the message that was passed on to us. I hope what I have said is I've opened a can of worms, because above and everything else, it is time for us to study African inventors, what they have invented, the Shems of Horeb, what they have done to us, the winged discs in ancient Egypt, and the wheels within wheels, the machines, the Maseh, Mechaba, the chariot, the ancient chariot, the real invention that lives and that is alive. As I have said in one of my teachings, ancient black technology was spirit-filled. Our modern technology is spiritless material technology. It does not add life to us, spiritual life. It drains our spirit and destroys us. Therefore, we need to eat these scrolls, as Ezekiel said, and to also deepen and sharpen our tools of understanding, so that we can understand the ancient Egyptian winged discs, Ezekiel's chariot, Elijah's flight through the chariot of fire into the heavens, the flying scrolls in Zechariah, and the behemoth animals in Leviathan and Nehush and barriers, which are the animals found in the books of Isaiah and Job, but yet which are technologies, living technologies. And lastly, but not least, if you read in the Kebra-Negast, you will find that King Solomon had a machine, a flying chariot that he flew and used it to fly the ark from Jerusalem to Aksum. And it is that machine that was used to fly the ark, the original ark from Aksum, and it's now buried in one Southern African country at a place that is called Matopos. And that machine flew back and it left the phenomena known as the King Solomon's Mines in Zimbabwe, Botswana, Zambia. This is what we must understand. This is what we must research, because the Ark of the Covenant is buried today, according to research, in Matopos. And these are the Masai Mechaba. These are the actual things, the entities we can make today as Hebrews, as black people, and sustain ourselves in power. I hope prophetic Ezekiel to black people, his message is quite clear, it's straightforward, it's challenging. Thank you. Please subscribe to our channel and challenge us. I want to thank all the people that have challenged us, and some have written nasty words to us. Thank you very much. Keep it up. Continue.